Hello, everyone, and welcome to this short video podcast all about helping you find quality information that you will need for your studies. My name is Jamie McIntyre, and my email address is j.h.mcintyre@hw.ac.uk, and you can contact me anytime with information inquiries. Similarly, if you're looking for quality information, pop into the library, and any of my friendly staff will be only too happy to help. If you want to speak to me directly, this is a picture of me, so you can find me in the library. And to be completely honest, this picture was taken 3 or 4 years ago now. I've had my hair cut since then. When you think about it, Google is really an amazing company. I use Google services every single day of my life. My phone is an Android phone, which of course was created by Google. I use Google Maps every day. All my family memories are uploaded to Google Photos, and Google can track my health statistics and the number of steps I take each day. And for most of us, Google is the default way of finding information on the web. We Google search things every single day. And for most information searches that we do, Google can be truly fantastic. But, and it's a big but, as a university student, Google is not always the best way to find information that you need. For example, did you know that when you do a Google search, Google only returns you about 1/10 of all the information that's available on the web? Google is by far and away the largest search engine out there, but it only is able to index about 1/10 of the web. That means when you do a Google search, you're actually missing out on about 90% of the information that's available. And a lot of the information that you find on Google is unreliable, and that's mainly because it's not been written by experts. Google also doesn't get you beyond paywalls. Information in our society is a commodity that's bought and sold, and the more important the information or the higher the quality of the information, the more it costs, and Google will not get you beyond that. And quite a lot of the information on the web is now completely out of date, sometimes quite dangerously out of date as well. Here's a question for you. How old is the World Wide Web? This thing that we use every day without really thinking about how old it is or how it works. How old is the World Wide Web? Well, it's 27 years old this year. It was created in 1991 and given to the world by a British scientist called Sir Tim Berners-Lee. And people have been uploading information to the web since 1991. And the problem is that there's nobody at the other end saying that's good information, that's bad information, so we'll take that off. That might mislead Heriot-Watt students, so we'll take that off there. No, there's no quality control going on at all. And how old is Google? Because remember, Google is not the web. Google was a company that was founded shortly after the creation of the web to help people search the web. Well, Google was established in 1996, so it's 22 years old this year. Silly fact for the day, Google was actually called Backrub until 1998, so we could have all have been using the word backrub. I'm going to backrub that information. Anyway, getting back to my point. So you're asking me, so what's your point, Jamie? And I'm glad you asked. And the truth is that as university students working towards a degree, just using Google to find information isn't really going to cut it. What you're going to need is to find quality information that's up to date and it's been written by experts. And your lecturers and the people who are going to be marking your work are going to be looking for evidence of this, that you've used quality information that you know is up to date, and especially stuff that's been written by experts. You are 100% expected to go and consult the work of people who know what they're talking about, experts. And this is where Discovery comes in. Discovery is a really useful service that you have from the university which will give you access to books, of course, printed books, ebooks, journal articles, and databases. Now, books and ebooks are fairly easy to understand. You know what they are. But I remember 20 years ago when I was an undergraduate student, I didn't really understand what journal articles were, and I certainly didn't understand what databases were. So here's a very quick explanation. Journal articles are articles from academic magazines. So magazines that are written by people who are involved in the industry or who are studying certain aspects. Now, rather than waiting 6 months to a year to have your book written, checked, edited, and then published, articles can come out much quicker than that. So journals and journal articles are a much quicker way of getting information out there. And the good thing about journal articles is that they're normally written by people who are classed as experts, but they've also been through a process called peer review, which means other experts in the field have looked at them and decided whether the information is accurate or not. And databases are actually really easy to understand. Databases are simply collections of information on a given subject that somebody has put together in a nice way and made them searchable for you. So that is quite simple. And you will be expected to show evidence that you have consulted books, whether they're print or electronic, and articles and databases. And remember, this is where Discovery comes in. Discovery searches all of the university's collections for these things on a particular topic for you. So to get started with Discovery, this is the web address that you need: www.hw.ac.uk/is. I would note that down, or I would stick it into my favourites bar. The IS stands for Information Services. Excuse me. And if you go here, this is what the Information Services page looks like. So if you think of Information Services as a mashup between the library service and IT services, this page is really useful. For example, you can go here to change your password. You can go here to download Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel for free. You can go here to look up the Power Hour workshops that we have at the Scottish Borders campus. But for today, we're just interested in this box here, which is Find Resources. So we click on Find Resources, and it takes us into a page that looks like this. Now, I can start off just simply by typing in a search, but actually what I'm going to do is, rather than type a search into the box, I'm going to click on the little Discovery link underneath. So when I click on here, it takes me into Discovery, and this is what it looks like. And the first thing to do is go up to the top right hand corner and sign yourself in. So sign in. And for this we use our university username and the same password that we use for email and Vision. And that's us once we're logged in. Now we can do a search. Now, over on the right hand side we can limit the search to the different campuses that Heriot-Watt has. Dubai, Scottish Borders, Malaysia. But what we'll do is we'll just do a search across everything, regardless of where it is. Type in fashion design, and let's see what comes up. Okay, that's interesting. We have fashion design. It says at the top of the entry, multiple versions, which means it could be articles or books. Here's one that's a book chapter. Here's one that's an article, an article, an article, and an article. And I can tell that it's an article because of the little picture, but I can also see at the top of the entry that it says article. Now you see here where it says full text available, full text available, full text available. That means that it's available online to us. So all we do is we click on that link and it takes us into an online version of the article. And this is one of these cookie messages, so we'll just get rid of that. Now, all journal articles should have an abstract. The abstract tells you everything you need to know about that article. It tells you the introduction, it tells you the methodology that was used, and maybe some of the conclusions as well. All articles also have an introduction, so I'm going to have a quick read of this. Introduction, and it'll give me an introduction to what this article is about. Then if I close off the introduction there, I can scoot down and I can look at either discussion and implication, or a summary of the article. Here's the summary. And that's how I would advise that you approach articles. Look at the abstract, introduction, and summary. I can also download this article to my laptop or to my tablet or to my memory stick, no problem. Just look for the button that says download PDF. And here we have the article as it would have appeared in the original magazine. Fab. So my advice to you is there will be plenty of articles on all sorts of subjects through Discovery. My advice to you is to check the abstract, check the introduction, and then go to the end and check the conclusion. If that article feels like it's really important and gives you the information that you want, then read the middle piece. And the middle piece is usually explaining how the researchers went about finding out their information. So that can get quite heavy and quite complicated. So my advice is always just have a look at the abstract, get the gist of what the article is about, have a look at the introduction because it's usually full of great information, and then have a look at the conclusion to see what they came up with at the end of the day. Now let's just do another simple search here. I can see in the top right hand corner that I'm signed in, which is great. And I'm just going to type in here my search term, which is fashion drawing. Does the library have any books on fashion drawing? And here we can see available at Scottish Borders campus. That means there's a print copy available in the library here. There's a little code number there, which probably isn't meaning anything to you right now, but what you do is you get a member of staff to help you find out where those books are. That little code tells us where it is. Now, I'm just going to limit it to full text online, so I just want something that's available electronically. Let's say I'm at home one day with a cold and I just want to do a bit of research, so I just want stuff that's online. Full text online, limit it to books, and here we have the ebooks on that subject. And again, if I wanted to access any of these ebooks, I would just click on full text online. Now it tells me where this book is coming from. If you look at the link in the middle, it says full text available at Science Direct local collection. Click on that link and it should take me into the book. Now I'm doing this at home where my Wi-Fi is really quite speedy, so don't panic if this takes a few seconds. Remember, you are actually going in and accessing a whole book with all its graphics and images as well. So don't panic if it takes a couple of seconds, and there we go. Here is the book. I can look at a description, I can look at the table of contents, or I can go through the book chapter by chapter here to find the chapter that's most relevant. And again, I can download a particular chapter to my memory stick, to my laptop, etc. Now don't panic if when you do your discovery search that things look a little bit different, because if you think about it, the university doesn't just buy its information from one supplier, it buys it from lots of different publishers, and different publishers present their information slightly differently, but the same basic principles will apply throughout. Okay, just one more example of a search. You can see again that I'm logged in the top right hand corner. This time we're just going to look for articles. So do we have any articles on fashion design? So I've got a general search for fashion design. This one's a book, this one's an article. But what I want to do is use the limiters on the left hand side to limit what I'm looking for. So I can limit it by location, resource type, and there's articles. So if I click on that link, that limits the search to just articles. So if my lecturer told me to find 7 articles on a particular subject, I know now that everything in here is just articles from journals. Now, this is currently searching from the year 1700 right up to 2018. I want things that are up to date, so I'm going to change that date there to 2010, click Refine, And now I know that my collection of articles are all going to be from after 2010, or sorry, from 2010 onwards. And again, most of these articles are going to be available to me online. You can check what journal they're coming from by looking just underneath the title. So I've clicked on full text online and it takes me through to this article. Now, interestingly, when I was talking about experts in a subject, some of those experts work here, including the lady who co-authored this article, Britta Kalkruter. Great. What about these things called databases then? I was talking about, we've looked at books and we found books and ebooks. We now know how to limit our search to articles only. What about databases? Well, the university has lots of databases. Here's a couple that are interesting for you as fashion and textile students. WGSN, of course. WTIN, great source of information for the textile trade. And Just Style, which is more a fashion-based database. But how do I get into these databases and how do I search them and find information? Well, for databases, Discovery won't search inside a database. We have to search for them separately. So if you look along the top, you see there's a thing that says Journals A to Z and Databases A to Z. We click on that and we can see here that the university has 238 databases covering all the topics that are taught in the university. So mathematics, chemistry, and so on. So out of those 238, how do you know which ones are good for textiles? Well, you could do a search for textiles in there, but I'm going to show you a quick way. If we go back into Discovery and into this box, see if you just type the word textiles, something pretty cool happens. When you just type textiles, the top there has 3 boxes. You have a library guide to textiles, which I've made. You have my email address if you're looking for help. And you have a list of the top databases that are used by textile students. And here they are. If I click on that link, it takes me through to this little list here. We have Edited, Just Style, Mintel Academic, the Vogue Archive, and WGSN. For more information, I can click on Textiles, Library Guide. Here you see a real picture of me this time. You can email me direct from here, and you can schedule an appointment to come and chat to me if you're having any trouble. But the real thing is, the key thing is along the top we have tabs, and in particular, specialised databases. And this lists all the databases that are relevant to textiles and design and fashion. So in there we see Mintel Academic, which is good for market information, if you're doing any marketing. WGSN, World Textiles, and World Textile Information Network. So I'm just going to click on World Textile Information Network. This is what it looks like. I can read any of the reports here, or I can simply just click in the top right hand corner and do a search. So I'm going to do a search in here for sustainable textiles, if I spell it right. And here it brings up all the reports, articles, and news coverage that it can find of sustainable textiles. And to access one of these articles, I just click on the title, and it should take me into the article. And again, it searches across its database and brings you back the article. Now, the university pays well over £1.5 million per year to access these databases. This is what I was talking about. Google doesn't get you through the paywall. So Google can't get you into books and ebooks because you've got to pay for them. Similarly, you've got to pay for journal articles. And similarly, you've got to pay for access to these specialised databases. But Discovery does. It gets you access through to the items that the university has paid for. So that's a very quick guide into using Discovery. We've found books, we've found journal articles, we've found uh, access to databases. Now, I don't expect anybody to become an expert after this, so please do keep asking for help. And with a lot of these things, they are digital, so they rely on IT. And as you've probably found out already, things go wrong with IT. So please do, if something goes wrong, please email me on that address that I gave you at the start, or talk to one of our friendly and helpful staff, and we'll get that fixed as soon as possible. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Good luck with your searching, and remember, our motto in the library is, if you need help, just ask. Bye for now.